Hi, everyone. It's Tuesday. We used to do this on Fridays. It's the first Tuesday I'm back. Woo! Yay, Monona Terrace. Woohoo! It's really nice to see everybody. We'll start on our backs. How about that? Give everyone a little bit of time to get situated and settled. Just a heads up, I don't really know if my cell phone is off. So if my cell phone rings, that will be a gentle reminder to come back to your breath. It could be our reminders throughout the day. Whenever you hear someone's cell phone go off, it's like a bell of mindfulness. Come back to your breath. So as you find your way and settle onto your back, try and use the ground for some reference, for a little feedback. If you're someone who tends to have a tight low back, you might want to bend your knees. You can even let your knees kind of drop together if you'd like. This is bringing some attention to the places that we don't get to see. So the back of your head, down through your neck and out into your back shoulders, going all the way down through the back of your arms, coming back through your back ribs and your spine and your hips, through your legs into your feet. So we don't have the same visual relationship to our back body as we do to the front body. So being able to take a few moments, notice what you're feeling through your back body can be incredibly helpful. So as we're on our backs and breathing, gentle reminder that we each have total, complete agency over your practice, over our practices. If something doesn't feel safe, physically, energetically, mentally, back out, come right here. If this shape doesn't feel comfortable or safe, you find and create your own safe shape space. You have total, complete agency. Go at your own pace. Come back over and over throughout this class to check in with how we're doing. So how are you doing? Being curious. Noticing how you're feeling. Maybe it's helpful for you to set an intention for the next 45 minutes of our practice together. What do you need from your practice today? What do you want from your practice? How can this 45 minutes benefit not only the rest of your day, but maybe even benefit into the rest of your week, into your weekend? Come back and just see. Just taking one breath. Can you follow one full inhale, one full exhale? And then with your next exhale, your knees aren't bent. We're going to bend your knees. Okay. Just as a reminder, as we come back into the practice, can you feel from your ears to your shoulders, through your ribs into your hips. So I think we'll all agree that from the ears, even though there's space to the shoulders, through the ribs, the hips, this makes a rectangle. If we go into the lower rectangle, we could imagine we have a corset cummerbund on. And give yourself a couple moments. So as you exhale, imagine you have a corset or a cummerbund on, and it's just going to slightly get a little bit tighter with your exhale. And when you inhale, it releases. But there's still a sense of firmness and tone through the inhale. We'll do that a couple times. So exhaling and inhaling on your own. Now, what would that feel like if you took your corset cummerbund all the way from your hip points through your rib cage into your armpits? So all the way from the hips to the armpits, what does that feel like? What do you notice when you exhale and inhale? When you exhale simultaneously, can you feel your navel naturally draw towards the floor? When you inhale naturally without tensing or even really controlling any muscle groups, when you inhale, can you feel your belly button go up to the ceiling? So simultaneously as we exhale, feeling how the ribs and the hips draw in, the navel draws back. Inhaling, the ribs and the pelvic crest get a little wider, the navel goes up. It's okay if this is your first time doing this and you're like, what? I feel totally confused. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Just keep breathing. 2 more breaths. And then with your next exhale, you're going to take your legs up towards the ceiling, take your arms up to the ceiling. Gentle reminder, as long as you're breathing, you really can't do this wrong. Okay, so just trying to stay a little more embodied with your body, with your breath in your body. We're going to inhale, take all the limbs out wide like an X or a Y or a V. And then with an inhale, pull the limbs back up. So imagine you're stretching or pulling like a TheraBand. You're moving through mud. You're going to pull everything back up. Right now, we're moving very symmetrical. See if your arms can kind of shadow your legs. Your arms are going to just mirror the legs. And you can notice really your spine's not moving. The back shoulders, ribs, hips are still down. They're heavy. It's just really the limbs going out and coming in. And then we're going to take everything up to the ceiling and pause. So the challenge here is to not move your rectangle. So keep your ears stable, shoulders, ribs, hips down. Take your right arm out just a couple of inches. I'll let you define what a couple is. Now, don't let your right hip come up. Feel your right hip. Take your left leg out to the left. Don't move your right hip. How far can you go? It's not about necessarily how far you go. It's about keeping that right hip down. Don't let your right butt cheek pop up off the ground. Pull everything back. Left arm goes out to the side. Don't let your left butt cheek pop up. Take your right leg out. Keep your left butt cheek down. Pull everything back up. Okay, did you hold your breath doing that? I know I almost did. So keep breathing. Inhale, right arm, left leg, go out to the side. Exhale, they pull back up to the ceiling. Left arm, right leg, and just go at your own pace. I'm going to roll up to just take a look. Keep moving. And you feel stability and strength and mobility simultaneously, working at just your own effort level. Yeah, see some hips wobbling. One more on each side. Keep breathing. Hips steady. Legs and arms come up, and then a well-deserved rest. Everything comes down. We take lots of mini breaks. You get a 3 to 5 breath break. Just notice what you notice. Exhale, roll yourself on up to sitting and bring your feet out in front of you. All right, you're gonna bring your feet out. You're gonna press your big toes into the floor and hold on to the back of your legs. So and rock a little bit on your butt bones. So for most of us, we're probably like in the middle of the sit bone. So we're gonna go very slowly so we can feel it. So you're gonna slide onto the back of your sit bone and notice how your low back starts to round. We want to do this with strength. So it's like a cat pose if you're familiar with cat, and you're tucking your tail, you're tucking your pelvis under. Okay. Then you're going to pull yourself up, use the back of your arms. Okay. Sit up. Now you're going to come to the front of your sit bones. Might feel a little bit like a cow pose if you're used to cow. You're going to have a tilt or anterior tilt in your pelvis. So you're moving your pelvis in relationship with your low back. You can go on your own. And the challenge is to go slow enough you can move with strength through this range of motion and keep your toes down. Pushing those feet into the earth. We're going to do 3 more. More challenging, you probably know it. Take your arms off your legs. Shoulders soft out of your ears. Keep breathing. Next time you sit up, just lean forward. Hands can come on your shins. Exhale, draw your navel, find your belly button, navel draws back, round your back, look towards the floor or maybe into your belly. And now bring awareness to your back body. Is it possible to feel your breath through your back? If so, what does it feel like? I'll remind you, nobody hears your answer, so it doesn't have to make any sense to anybody but you. Take a couple of breaths. And then sit up nice and tall. Either your hands come on the back of your legs or your arms come out, palms up, and you're going to sit back on the back of those sit bones. Now, find just the right challenge. What does that mean? 1, you can breathe, and 2, it's not so tight up here. You're having like crazy thoughts of like, oh my God, my hips, my hips, my hips. So you have to find just the right spot. Okay. Push your toes into the floor. Okay. Right leg lifts. It lowers. Left leg lifts. Right? Maybe you take left arm, right arm, or right leg, left arm. Left leg, right arm. Okay. Get 3 more on each side. Maybe you sit back a little more. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, it's just Tuesday. This lady's crazy. Sit up. Right? Find the space that works for you. We are all very different. Different levels of strength and stability and mobility. What works for you? All right, last one. You're going to sit back to your comfort, your strength. Bring your hands together. Right leg lifts, twist to the right. Put the leg down. Left knee lifts, twist to the left. We have to do this because I'm sitting in the shade and it's cold up here. And I have to get warm. One more to each side. You got it. Whew, pull yourself up, rest. Whew. Take a nice full in breath. Fill all the way up and then sigh it out. One more time. Inhale all the way up. Now sip again and let it all out. All right, tabletop. All right, so your version of tabletop, you can come down on your forearms. Right? You can have straight arms. You can be on your forearms if this hurts your wrists. If you're in the room with us, there's a ledge over by the windows. You can use a ledge. You can use a wall. There's lots of space in this room to move around. So you're taking that first pose, constructive rest pose, and flipping it around. So proprioceptively, body and space, ears, shoulders, ribs, hips, turn on that awareness. Can you line those points up? Right. Take a breath. Can you again feel your breath through your back? Keeping your right leg on the floor, take your right leg back. So your toes are still on the floor. Did your rectangle change? Did you hike your hip up? Did you drop your hip? And keep that right hip in line with the right shoulder. 3 times. Push through your right heel, lift and lower your right leg. And then bring your right knee back underneath and build your table. Ears to hips, take your left leg back. Notice your left hip, mine dropped. Did anybody else's left hip drop? Try to keep it up, level, lift and lower. There you go. Fantastic, bring it back, tabletop. Either child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice. Remember down dog, you lift your hips up and go back. Maybe you stay in table or push back to a child's pose. I'm going to take 3 breaths. One more time, come back to table. Rebuild your table. Okay, we're going to do this one more time because when I looked around, I saw some low bellies drop. So we talked about hips, but I didn't say low belly. So when you build your table, find your navel belly area. Relate that a little more to the width and length of your low back. Okay, so take your right leg straight back again. Did your belly button drop or did you start to compress your low back? Did your chest fall to the floor? Right? Imagine you had a pull from the back of your head all the way to the tailbone. Now lift and lower that right leg without letting your belly button drop, without your low back going into the floor. There you go. Nice. Come back to table. Try it on the left side. So you're working against gravity. You might imagine there's a magnet on the ceiling pulling your head and your spine up. Try not to let your spine fall to the floor. Then bring both knees back underneath. You choose child's pose or downward facing dog. And then we'll take a moment. Find a shape. 5-second awareness break. 5 seconds to come back and check in. How are you? What do you need? How is this going? Adjust, adapt. Your next exhale, acknowledge, hey, that's my exhale. And then we're going to figure out how to come all the way on up to stand. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So we're going to go and just turn and look out at the lake. We have Julie from Milwaukee here. She needs to look at the lake as long as she can. All right, legs about as wide as your hips. Hands can come up on your hip creases. Just lubricate your hips a little bit. Push your butt back, soft bend in your knee, hinge at your hips, come back up. Do 2 more at your own pace. I'm going to throw 3 challenges at you really quick, okay? One challenge is try to keep the weight equal on your feet. So balls of the feet and your heels stay the same amount of weight. Challenge 2 is keep your rectangle a rectangle. So when you go over, your ears and your shoulders and your ribs and your hips travel at about the same speed. Okay. Now, challenge 3. When we go over far enough, some of us might be going to touch the floor. At some point, your low back has to round a little bit like a cat pose. So go slow enough that you can start to feel that rounding. Okay. We're going to do 3 more. 3 challenges, 3 times on your own. Feet stay about the same amount of weight, grounding front to back. Rectangle stays a rectangle. If your shoulders are going lower than your hips, going slow enough to turn on those cat flexion, rounding the low back muscles. That's like sitting back on those sit bones when we were seated. Come on up, go at your own pace. And then after 3, we'll all take standing meditation. Come back and feel, check in, breathe. And coming back, you get a 3 breath awareness break. You anchor with your body as you breathe. Gentle sun salutation. If you're at home and need a chair or a table for your dog, you're going to go stand in front of your table or your chair. The rest of us, we're going to exhale, sweep your arms out to come up. Push your butt back. We just did this. Stay a rectangle, grounded through the front back of your feet. Hands come down, step back. First, you're going to build tabletop. Just because. Feel your shoulder blades on your back, line your ears up. Okay, shoulders, ribs, hips. Right leg goes back. Keep your low back nice and long and strong. Lift your right leg. Maybe your left arm comes out. Pointer dog. We're holding the pointer dog for 3 breaths. Lower down after 3 breaths, switch sides. Left leg goes back, right arm comes forward. Lift. Balance. Lower down. Downward facing dog, tabletop, or child's pose for 5 breaths. So as you go back into your dog, or maybe you're staying in your table, can you still feel your rectangle, ears, shoulders, ribs, and hips? A lot like our pointer dog, try not to let your spine go with gravity towards the floor. Keep the spine in your back body. 2 more breaths. And then you got to walk your hands and feet together to come all the way on up. Big high 5 mountain stretch. Arms come down. 3 breaths, standing meditation. And like a standing pointer dog, just lift your left heel. Okay. Weight, counterweight. When you lifted your left heel, did you pop your left hip out or pop your right hip out? Come back. Ears stack over, shoulders and hips. You just have your heel up. Your left heel is going to stay up the whole time. You're going to either keep your left toes on the floor or drive your left knee forward and lift it up to your height, as high as you can. You drive that left knee up as high as you can. Maybe that is not driving it up. You do you. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths. Then your left leg has to swing back. Could drag on the floor, swing it back. However, you're going to build your lunge. The wider your lunge, the stronger you need to be through your low belly and your back and your hips, okay? So if you're kind of like, I'm not so strong in my hips, step your back foot in a little bit, okay? What we don't necessarily really want to happen is us pushing the chest forward, pushing the belly forward. That's like that cave in the tabletop. So come back to that feeling of tabletop, ears over shoulders over hips. If you had a pole on the back of your head, spine, you'd have those 3 points of contact, okay? Heels up. Sweep your arms forward and up. Hold on to something. Check your breathing. You're putting your body, for some of us, in a very challenging place. Can you relax your mind? Can you open your mind to just being in a challenging spot for 2 more breaths? Just open to what's happening. Step both feet together. Hang out, rest. Lift your right heel. Remember, we're all different. Maybe you don't lift your right leg up. That's fine. Maybe you do. Maybe you drive that right leg really high. Okay, you're just lifting up. You're balancing now on the left leg. Okay, the body's wobbling because you're a human being trying to hold yourself up in space. It doesn't mean you're bad at balancing. It means you're a human. It can be hard. Okay. Step your right leg back. Build your foundation for your lunge. If it's helpful, use that idea of ears, shoulders, ribs, hips. Maybe use the idea of corset cummerbund. A little more challenging, you take your arms up. You soften into what's happening. Soften is another word for open. Can you open to what's happening and take 3 breaths? You're going to load the weight in that left leg. Step your right leg forward. Might feel really nice to have both feet together, legs anchor. You feel a little more equally weighted, front foot, back foot. Exhale, sun salutation. Sweep your arms out and up. Push your butt back. Use a table, a chair, the floor. Go straight back this time. Build that downward facing dog. We're just going to add more challenge. So you stay in dog. You want more challenge? You're going to just bring your knees forward into floating tabletop. You're just going to float in your tabletop for about half an hour. Okay. 5 more seconds. Oh, use your corset cummerbund. It gets hard. Downward facing dog. All right, here comes your challenge. Push your butt way back. Bend your knees. Okay, you bend your knees as much as you need, and you push your butt back as far as you feel like, okay, it cannot go back anymore. Feel your thumb. Feel your pinky. Okay, don't move your head and look at your hands. Don't move your head. Use your spine. Use your upper back. Can you see your thumbs? And then we have to walk your hands and feet together. Ooh. Come up. We give everybody a high five. We stand in meditation. Short bits, many times, 5 breaths. One more time, pick up your left heel. Oh, notice what you thought about. Bring up your left knee if you want. Step your left leg back, build your high lunge. All right, you go at your own pace, safety first. Arms maybe come up. From your high lunge, maybe bring your fingertips together and find projected lunge. You're just tipping the whole rectangle at an angle. And tuck your chin and look down and see the top of your mat. Kind of depending on where you are on your mat, look down. And come back. Are your hips level? Right. I like to kind of drop my left hip down. Maybe feel that left hip. Is it level with your right hip? Ribs, shoulders, ears. So you're still like in a tabletop. I'm going to hang out here a little bit longer. Come back up to your high lunge. Everybody's right back butt cheek burning. Woohoo! Arms come up. Step both feet together. 5 breaths. Never knew I had those muscles. There they are. Great. Take a full deep inhale. Sigh it out. Lift your right heel. Right. Pick up your right leg. Balance or don't balance. You find your own balance. Build your lunge. Arms swing up. Or maybe they don't. How does this feel? What do you need to do to feel comfortable in your body? 3 breaths. Fingertips can come in front of your heart. Tip forward a little bit or a lot. Can you have level ears, shoulders, ribs, hips? Tabletop at projected, lunge style. Wait for your left butt cheek to start burning and hang out. You've got this. Just open to what's happening. Exhale, come back up. Step both feet together and hang out. 5 breaths. Ooh. Yeah, you're going to thank yourselves when it gets icy. You need those hip muscles. You need those butt muscles. Sun salutation. Exhale. Sweep your arms out and up. Push your butt back. Fold over. Use a chair, table, floor. Step back. Downward facing dog. You want more challenge? Bend your knees, floating table. 20 seconds wherever you are. Be quiet. What do you hear when you hold this shape? All right, come down to your knees. You can do this on your forearms if you need, if it hurts your wrists. Everybody find cat, round your back. Okay, so you're going to find a really strong cat. And when I think of a strong cat, right, in my own body cat, not like a real cat, my cat, meow, I get pretty tired doing this. Like I'm getting pretty tired across my upper back. I'm definitely getting pretty tired in my low belly. Okay. Press a little more and just feel your left knee get a little more grounded and pick up your right knee and pull it up. How high can you pull your knee up to your armpit? There you go. Woo, put it down. You're still in cat. Lift your left knee. You got it. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. And put it down and push back into a child's pose. Stretch out through your low back a little bit. It's not going to be a really long child's pose, just enough to feel good. Great. And then we're going to come back up to tabletop. All right. Either straight arms or back on your elbows. Find your cat pose. And then slowly trickle through your spine. So start down at your tailbone and trickle up into cow. When you get all the way through your vertebrae into cow, from your head down, trickle through your spine into cat. And just do one more trickle cat cow. And then after this trickle cat cow, you decide, I don't know, maybe you want child's pose. Maybe you're like, I really love cat cow. Maybe you want a down dog. So we'll take about 15, 20 seconds. So maybe you want to rest for 15, 20 seconds. Maybe you want to do more low back length stretch. Maybe this mobility is good. We're going to be quiet. Just listen to your body moving. All right, and then we're all gonna find some stillness and end up on our bellies, all right? So figure out how to come all the way down on your belly, hands down by your lower ribs like you were doing a push-up. I have a mic on, so I cannot get my nose to the mat like you can, but tuck your chin and let your nose just hover off the mat. Come down, feel your pubic bone and press it into the floor and see if you can get your legs to float up. You're going to try and push that pubic bone down. Your hamstrings are lifting up to the ceiling. And then with an inhale, lift your chest up. Little baby cobra, legs up, locust-like pose. Exhale, come down. All right. Tighten up that corset cummerbund, especially navel to spine. So from your navel to your pubic bone, nice and strong through that area. Lift your legs. Now pull your toes back. Lift your chest. Maybe lift your hands. Maybe take your arms back. I'll let you decide how you want to do this. Maybe you want to go up and down a few times or just hold. Feel free to go up with your inhale and then down strong with your exhale, or hold for about 5 breaths. So you might come up and down a few times, lots of variations. You're breathing. You're going to keep that spine long, strong through those back muscles. Great. And then last one will come down. You could put your hands underneath your forehead. You won't take a really long rest because it's probably not the best thing to fall asleep right now. And then again, is it possible? Can you feel, do you feel breath in your back? Is it possible? If you do feel breath, what does it feel like? And then with your next couple exhales, we're going to come back on up to sitting. You can find any sort of sitting, seated on your bottom shape that works for you. Crisscross applesauce or legs out in front of you. What works? We're not going to be here very long, just long enough to take a couple twists. Back in the middle of those sit bones. Find your belly button. Try not to move your belly button a whole lot. Okay? Rib cage. You're going to take your left ribs over to the right. You're going to take your right ribs over to the left. Go at your own pace. Try and understand this space of not moving the pelvis. Not move those hip bones. Just move the ribs. You don't even have to really move your head. It just kind of goes along until we take the left rib cage over to the right. And then we separate and we look over to the left. Then we take the right ribs over to the left and the gaze over the right. Great. And come back. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up. Don't let your butt come up. Okay. Left butt cheek stays down. You could slide your right arm out. 3 breaths. Switch. Keep your butt cheeks heavy. Great. One more time. It's really nice to see you all. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to be thinking like yoga things, but I'm really thinking like how nice it is to see everybody. That's a yoga thing, right? All right, we always take the last few minutes for self-care. So we have about 2 or 3 minutes here. I don't know, maybe you just want to move your mat if you're in the room over in the sunshine and lie down and enjoy sun. Maybe there's a favorite stretch that you would really love to do. Maybe you're a practicing meditator. You have a 3-minute break to meditate. So everyone can promote self-wellness and care by giving themselves a moment to check in, notice what you need. Try not to hold your breath, and we'll take the next couple minutes here in silence. And wherever you are, maybe you're moving or in stillness, just giving yourself an opportunity to come back to your body. We'll take a few moments here to practice gratitude. So finding 2 or 3 things you're extremely grateful for and just noticing the feeling of gratitude throughout your body as you open your attention and awareness to the feelings that arise. As we open our bodies to gratitude, you might put a hand on your heart or a hand on your belly. And we'll take about 5 breaths here in silence. Just coming back to your experience. If you're on your back, feel free to draw your knees into your chest and don't even think about it. Roll over to the easiest side and pause. Feel your back heart and take a couple thoughtful breaths through your back heart space, letting your breath create a sense of openness. Opening your body through your breath to being open and receptive. And slowly coming all the way on up to seated. Sweep your arms out and up and give everybody a big high five. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for taking care of yourselves. Our practices make the world a sweeter space. Thanks, everybody. Woohoo! We did it.
Thank